Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about foundation. I'm sharing 10 of my favorite best-in-class formulas, and I've partnered with Sephora at Kohl's for today's video, so that is where you will find all of the products we're going to talk about. I actually just finished setting up a personalized Kohl's storefront. I've tagged all of my Kohl's favorites, including this cute top that I'm wearing today. All of my Sephora favorites are there. That way everything is in one place. So that link will be down below in the description box. I will also pin a comment with the link so it's easy to find. And I wanted this video to be as helpful for you as possible. So not only am I going to show you the foundation application, tell you a little bit about each one, but I'm going to share the wear test. That way you can see what each of these formulas look like on the skin after a couple hours. Starting with the foundation that I'm wearing on my skin today, this is the best SPF foundation. It's the best-selling IT Cosmetics CC Cream. This is a very full coverage formula. It's a physical sunscreen. It has SPF 50 with UVA and UVB protection. I am big on sunscreen, as you all know. This makes it a little bit easier to make sure your face is truly protected. I still recommend applying your daily SPF separately, but this is such a great added layer of protection. It is very perfecting on the skin. Somewhat new to my collection, I picked this up a couple weeks ago from Sephora at Kohl's. I had to run in because I had Kohl's cash, and that's when I picked up this cute little top. It's one of the reasons why I love shopping Sephora at Kohl's and picking up all of my beauty favorites through the Sephora at Kohl's program, because you get your Beauty Insider points. You also earn Kohl's rewards, which later gets turned into Kohl's cash. I found so many incredible fashion items, and I'm always able to score some really incredible deals because the loyalty program is just so great. So I've only been wearing it for a couple weeks. I instantly fell in love with it, but it is a long time bestseller, a lot of people's holy grail foundation, and I completely see why. Normally when you think of a CC cream, you think of something a little bit lighter. It's color correcting, but you're not going to get a ton of coverage out of it. But this is very full coverage. It has a natural finish. It's a pretty thick, creamy texture. It has hyaluronic acid to help hydrate and plump, niacinamide, and vitamin E. The additional skincare is great, but the major bonus, the real standout that makes this foundation so amazing is that SPF 50. That is huge. Even if this didn't have sun protection, I would really like it and appreciate the formula just because it is so perfecting. As a foundation, it looks really beautiful, but you don't see a lot of great foundations that have such a high level of SPF. A lot of times it's 15, 25, maybe 30, and I am using shade neutral medium. It's a little bit tan for me, but it works perfectly with my sunless tan. So over the summer, this is a great shade. In the winter, I might go down to just regular medium. As long as you are looking for coverage in your foundation, maybe you have post-blemish marks, acne, rosacea, hyperpigmentation, you like to even out your complexion a little bit, and you want something that has a natural finish. It's not overly luminous, it's not overly drying or matte, but you want sun protection, this is a great formula for you to try. This is my 4-hour check-in for the IT Cosmetics CC Cream. You'd expect that it would still hold up after 4 hours, and it looks perfect. I haven't touched up at all, no additional powder, and I haven't really left the house yet, so I'm finally running some errands today. And it's a rainy day in Miami, so lots of humidity, lots of heat, probably be sweating, so we might end up looking a little bit shiny, but so far so good. It looks really nice. Now, if you don't love coverage, instead you prefer something a little bit lighter on the skin, this is my favorite skin tint. It also has some skincare ingredients, some SPF. It's the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint with SPF 40. Also contains niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, and squalene. This is much lighter. It's a very thin, watery texture. You want to give it a really nice shake, and it can be a little bit tricky to find the best shade for you because it will oxidize. I don't know if it's maybe the SPF component. I wear shade ST9 Paloma. This is a good shade for me. It starts a little bit lighter and then it oxidizes to match your skin tone. This is a long time favorite of mine. This is actually my 3rd bottle of this skin tint. Really great. I've been using it off and on for years throughout the year. This is a all year round formula in my opinion. You know, certain foundations just work better for certain seasons. You have your winter foundations, your summer foundations. This is an anytime, any place, everyday staple. This award-winning tinted serum has light coverage, dewy radiant finish, it's a very thin texture, and it's clean at Sephora. This skin tint is best suited for anybody with dry skin. If you have more mature skin and you like formulas that are really hydrating, you'll probably really like this. It does leave sort of a dewy, luminous glow to the skin, so you're gonna see that radiant finish throughout the day. If you like your skin to show through your foundation, you don't want anything too heavy, too perfecting, or cakey, this is going to be a great formula for you. I'm going on about 10 hours with the Ilia Skin Tint, including a workout, and it's still held up really nicely. I have some dry patches on my chin because my chin was already dry even before I applied it. So if you ignore the chin, everywhere else on the face, like the cheeks, the forehead, everything else looks really good. I love the skincare. I love the SPF. Just one of the best skin tints in my opinion. And our next award is for the best foundation stick. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Skin Finish Buildable Coverage Foundation Stick, and I have shade Latte 300N. This is a long time favorite. This is probably my fourth or fifth Huda Beauty foundation stick. For a long time, I was using this as my everyday foundation. I went through 3 or 4 sticks in a row. This was a couple years ago, but I still love this foundation to this day. There are a lot of great uses for a foundation stick. It could be used as your everyday foundation, but it's also just nice and portable, so it's great for travel, throwing in a makeup bag. If you're somebody who likes to go to the gym before work and do your makeup, with a small makeup bag, this is really nice. It's a great touch-up stick. It could be a great contour stick if you want a darker shade. Fragrance-free, transfer-proof, waterproof, humidity and sweat resistant. It's described as a lightweight foundation that glides on easily, providing customizable coverage with a natural-looking skin-like finish. So coverage is full to light, natural finish, stick formula, and it's for all skin types. It's so easy to apply. It really does glide on like butter. I would recommend, if you want full coverage or medium to full coverage, to just take the stick and apply a couple strokes to the face. If you want lighter coverage and you really want to kind of spot conceal, if you will, then I would just use a foundation brush, pick up a little product, and just dab it on a little bit lighter. That way you get less coverage. A lot of times with my skin type, I can struggle with a stick foundation because they're either too heavy and I can just see it sitting on top of the skin, or sometimes they're a little bit dry and I just feel like it's emphasizing every line and every pore. But the Huda Beauty stick just evens everything out. It's very blurring. It really gives you that faux filter effect. If you have very oily skin, combination to oily skin, I know how difficult it can be to find a good foundation that lasts on you, that looks good throughout the day and isn't going to be a greasy mess. I think you will really like this new formula from Urban Decay. This is a new favorite. It's called the Face Bond Foundation. I have shade 15 Light Medium Warm. It's lightweight, waterproof, blurring, and self-setting. It has medium coverage, a matte finish, and 3% niacinamide. You really don't need much product with this foundation, which is nice that the tip is so small because you can squeeze out a teeny tiny bit. You can always squeeze a little bit more if you want additional coverage, but it is self-setting with a matte finish. It's not overly matte. I wouldn't say it looks really dry on the skin, but if you have dry skin, this is probably not going to be the best formula for you. As a former oily girl, I know the temptation is always there to keep powdering the face, keep adding powder throughout the day. You touch up, you blot, you're constantly just powdering to help control the oil. But because this is self-setting and it has that matte finish, it sort of dries down in place and then it doesn't really budge. Very long lasting, very perfecting. It just sort of sets and then that's it. So I would work in sections on the face. That's something I discovered the first time I used this. I would start with maybe one cheek, then go to the forehead, then the other cheek. Don't just do a couple dots all over and then try to blend because it dries down quickly. As soon as you squeeze this out, you're on the clock and you need to get blending. Once you play around with it, you learn the formula and it does last all day long. It looks beautiful at the end of the day. And I like how you don't have to use a ton of product on the skin to get a very beautiful complexion. I would also recommend the Face Bond for special events, for photos. If you have some occasion where you're going to be out all day long and you don't really have time to touch up your makeup, maybe it's a day to evening thing, this would be great. 6-hour check-in. I had to think what time it was. This is my 6-hour check-in wearing the Urban Decay. Still looking really good. Can definitely see my pores, but I think it's just my skin. Skin has pores, what can I say? And then on the flip side, the best foundation for dry skin, and also one of the most underrated foundations in my opinion, has got to be this Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Moisturizing Makeup with Broad Spectrum SPF 45. This is such an incredible foundation for anybody who needs moisture, hydration. If you struggle with foundations clinging to every dry patch on your face, this is the one. It has medium coverage, SPF 45. It also contains chia seed extract to nourish, probiotic technology to soothe, and ion-charged water to hydrate. It has antioxidants, vitamin E. It lasts up to 12 hours. Definitely more of a coverage foundation. This is not just like a light hydrating skin tint effect. This is for people who want perfection. And I wear shade 3N1 Ivory Beige. In my experience, I think this particular formula maybe runs a little bit deeper than the other Estee Lauder foundations. I want to say I'm 3N1 in all of the foundations, like double wear, but this is maybe a little bit darker once it oxidizes on the skin, and I think that's the one reason why I don't get as much wear out of this formula. This is a great choice for anybody with dry skin, more mature skin. You still want coverage, you want to perfect everything, but you don't want to feel like a cake face. This is so beautiful. And it doesn't get nearly the amount of love it deserves. I feel like this is one of those cult following products. The people who know about Futurist Hydra Rescue, they know about it, they love it, it's their holy grail, it's all they use, and they're singing about it all the time. But it seems like a smaller subset, maybe because Estee Lauder is known for double wear and not as much this. Speaking of double wear, if I had to give one award to the most long-lasting foundation on the planet, it has to be Estee Lauder Double Wear. This is the OG, the holy grail, the foundation that you go to when you want something that's long-lasting, full coverage, perfecting. This is the one. If you're ever walking around and you see someone and you think, wow, their makeup looks so perfect, 9 times out of 10, they're wearing double wear. When I used to work in cosmetics, I would say 95% of the women that I worked with wore double wear. It didn't matter what brand they were working with. They always would wear double wear because it truly is long lasting. It is the stay in place makeup. It is not going anywhere, which works for a lot of different scenarios. I mean, for one thing, if you find that your face just drinks up your foundation and it's gone after a few hours, I would recommend this. But if you have some sort of special event where you're going to be outside, you're going to be sweating, maybe you have photos being taken for brides, for photos. If I were competing in the Olympics, I would be wearing double wear. I'm committed to bringing you range and options, so the award for the most natural foundation, this would be the opposite side of the spectrum from double wear, is the Say Slip Tint. This also has broad spectrum SPF 35, so it's a tinted moisturizer sunscreen, more of a skin tint type of product. I have shade 3.5. It is the perfect shade match, so it just glides right on, and it truly does look like my skin. It's one of those your skin but better type of products. It uses 100% non-nano mineral zinc oxide, hyaluronic acid to attract water and retain moisture, and licorice root extract to help brighten and refine the appearance of skin. If I had to compare this with something else on the list, I would say it's very similar to the Ilia Super Serum Skin Tint. Both are skin tints, both contain skincare ingredients, a little SPF, and they both wear really beautifully on the skin. I would say this leans a little bit more natural, and that I feel like I could get away with wearing the Say Slip Tint and feel like I'm not wearing any foundation, but both are very similar. I would say you could choose one. You don't need both of these. If you love a product with a lot of skincare, but you want a true foundation, you'll probably really like the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. This is my best in class for skincare foundations. It has so many incredible ingredients, but it works more like a true foundation. It's considered an advanced makeup skincare hybrid product that visibly improves the skin's clarity over time. It has a natural finish, medium buildable coverage, it blurs and smooths. It has ingredients like biomimetic oat to reduce the appearance of redness, Japanese lily turf to support a strong skin barrier, and cacao peptides and milk thistle to minimize the negative effects of blue light and environmental stressors. I was such a fan of the NARS Longwear Soft Matte Foundation when that launched that I didn't really get all that excited when I heard about this foundation until I tried it, and then it instantly became one of my everyday holy grail foundations. I want to say this is maybe my second or third bottle. It's definitely not my first. It looks beautiful on the skin. I think it is one of those perfect, universally flattering formulas. Like, most people are going to love this. It is hard to create a foundation that's going to work for most people. We all have different skin types, different skin issues, concerns, different preferences, but the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation comes so close to being that one go-to foundation. If you watch this entire video and you're still confused and you don't know which foundation you should try, start with the NARS. This will most likely be your favorite. Just got back from date night. The makeup is looking really great. It actually looks basically the same as it did before we even left. We sat outside, we were out in the humidity, and even still, the makeup is looking quite nice. What do we think, Jess? It's a good foundation, right? Now here's an award for the best viral foundation. I think Glamzilla broke the internet when she did her TikTok review of this Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. I saw so many stitches. Everyone ran out to purchase it. I think it probably sold out in a lot of shades. And it really is an incredible foundation. It glides on like silk. That's the best way to describe it. This feels like silk on the skin. It's so light and weightless, and yet it's perfecting, and it gives a really nice coverage to the skin. And then it looks sort of reflective the way silk would look. It's beautiful. I went with shade 3N1 Buff. I always struggle finding a good shade match with Laura Mercier. It is so difficult to judge what shade you are online. It blurs the skin, it's waterproof, up to 12 hours of fade-proof wear, medium buildable coverage, natural finish. It contains high-resolution pigments and 3D smooth priming powders. After experimenting with this foundation for a few weeks, I completely understand why it went viral, and it just sort of snowballed because the more people who tried it, the more people made videos on how amazing it is and how it truly did deserve all of the hype. 10 out of 10. And my final award goes to the best everyday foundation, and that is for the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. I have shade 11N. It is so pretty on the skin. When I heard that this was going to be dewy, radiant, luminous, I thought, oh no, that is not going to work for me. So maybe because I went into this with lower expectations, or I wasn't quite sure if I was gonna love it, I was blown away. I love this foundation. I think it is so perfect for every single day. The key to making it work is less is more. And I think you could say that for most of these foundations, but the less product you use, the more natural and skin-like it looks. You really don't have to do a full face of coverage. I like to take a very small amount with a brush and just start in the center points of the face and lightly blend out. And I feel like this perfects the skin, but still looks so natural. It's breathable and buildable with a luminous, long-wearing finish. It contains grapeseed oil and vegetal squalene and perfecting powders that work with the skin's natural texture for a smooth, enhanced finish. When you look at the foundation in the bottle, it kind of throws you because it almost looks like there's glitter in the foundation. Mario has come out to say there is not glitter in here, but it does have like luminous powders that help reflect light in a very pretty way. It doesn't look overly glowy. It's not shimmery on the skin, but you can see little areas where I probably need to shake this bottle as well, but you can see how it looks almost shiny. I think that probably throws a lot of people. One of the prettiest, lightest, most effortless truly surreal, ethereal foundations I've ever tried. It's very versatile, so if you're minimal with your makeup and you're just looking for that one do-it-all product, I think the Mario is a great fit because you can go very, very light, or you can build it up to have a more full glam moment. It doesn't have a ton of SPF or skincare ingredients. It's not trying to be everything for you. It's just a great staple foundation. It just sort of checks that one box, but it does it really well. And that completes my foundation awards. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I'm so curious to know what your foundation vibe is at the moment. Are you going full coverage? Are you interested in skin tints, skincare? What is maybe that one thing that you are looking for most in a foundation? Drop me a comment. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything on my face. All of my Kohl's favorites will be found in my storefront, which will be linked down below. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.